Since 2009, 80 different clubs had walked onto the grand stage of the UEFA Champions League. But only two wrote the script. Barcelona and Real Madrid didn't just win titles, they redefined an era. From Guardiola's tactical revolution to Ancelotti's calm empire, they built dynasties that stood above the rest, shattering records and egos alike. And it all began with a risk. In 2008, Barcelona were in crisis. The Frank Rijkaard era had collapsed into chaos. The locker room had lost its soul, so the club turned to someone with no senior coaching experience. Just a year earlier, Pep Guardiola had been managing Barcelona B, but now they handed him the reins to the biggest club in Spain. What followed wasn't a rebuild, it was a rebirth. By the end of the season, Guardiola's squad hadn't just won, they'd made history. Barcelona had talent, but they lacked order, discipline, belief. Guardiola brought it all. He removed the old guard, Ronaldinho, Deco, Zambrotta, and promoted players who would fit his vision. Busquets, Pedro, and a young Gerard Piqué. He placed trust in the quiet genius of Xavi, the rhythm of Iniesta, and the growing legend of Lionel Messi. But most importantly, he introduced a new ideology, tiki-taka. It wasn't just about passing, it was control, relentless possession, a system designed to suffocate opponents into submission. Every press, every triangle, every movement, calculated, rehearsed, perfected. In just one season, they completed the treble, La Liga, Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. In the final, they faced Manchester United, the reigning champions, and dismantled them with elegance and domination. Barcelona had not just won, they'd humiliated the elite, they'd become the standard. But greatness attracts resistance. While Barcelona mesmerized the world, their fiercest rivals were plotting a response. Real Madrid, hurt and humiliated, turned to the one man who could match Guardiola's fire, José Mourinho. Mourinho, the self-proclaimed special one, arrived with a mission: destroy the machine Pep had built. And what followed wasn't just football, it was warfare. El Clásico became a battlefield. Players fought, managers clashed, cameras caught every insult and shove. Underneath the chaos, Real Madrid were evolving. Mourinho instilled grit, discipline, and tactical flexibility. He gave Ronaldo freedom, built a midfield fortress, and assembled a team that could match Barcelona punch for punch. But the real shift came in 2013. Carlo Ancelotti took over. Calm where Mourinho was fire. Strategic where Mourinho was storm. With Cristiano Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, and Luka Modric, Ancelotti rebuilt the club's fractured identity. In 2014, they lifted La Décima, their 10th Champions League title, after a 12-year drought. The balance had shifted. The Empire of Catalonia had met its rival in Madrid. By 2014, Barcelona were wounded. The dream had faded. They had lost La Liga, lost the Copa, humiliated in Europe. Messi was still brilliant, but alone. The club needed more than a hero. It needed an army. So they built one. Neymar arrived, then Luis Suarez. And suddenly, the world saw a front line that made defenders panic before kickoff. Messi, Suarez, Neymar, MSN. At first, it stuttered. Messi was central, Suarez was banned, Neymar was raw. But once Luis Enrique shifted the pieces, something clicked. And then, it exploded. Barcelona tore through Europe like a storm. PSG, destroyed. Bayern, humiliated. Juventus in the final, outplayed 3-1. 122 goals, one season, 3 men. They weren't just winning. They were rewriting what attacking football could look like. It was fluid, violent, elegant, devastating. Barcelona became beauty with fangs, but across the divide, Real Madrid were about to answer. In early 2016, they sacked Rafa Benitez and turned to a legend, Zinedine Zidane. Like Guardiola, he had never managed a senior team. But unlike Guardiola, Zidane didn't arrive with blueprints. He arrived with presence. Quietly, he restructured the team. Casemiro became undroppable. Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro formed a midfield that would become iconic. Cristiano Ronaldo, Bale, Benzema, the BBC delivered the goals. Real Madrid didn't dance around opponents, they crushed them. Zidane's team didn't want possession, they wanted power. Transitions, counterattacks, moments of brilliance when the pressure was highest. No overthinking, no hesitation. 3 straight Champions League titles, 2016, 2017, 2018. It had never been done in the modern era. It may never be done again. And through it all, Ronaldo became inevitable. 10 knockout goals in a single campaign. A bicycle kick so perfect even Juventus fans stood up and clapped. Madrid weren't just winning, they were becoming eternal. But empires never last untouched. In 2018, Zidane walked. Ronaldo followed. And just like that, Real Madrid collapsed. They cycled through managers, fell to Ajax, City, Chelsea. The aura was gone, so was the fear. Meanwhile, Barcelona imploded harder. Neymar left for Paris. Suarez was cast aside. Messi was forced to carry a crumbling squad year after year. The infamous 8-2 loss to Bayern Munich in 2020 wasn't just defeat, it was an obituary. It felt like the golden era had ended. And then, Carlo Ancelotti returned. Nobody expected magic. The squad was aging. Benzema was supposedly done. Vinicius Jr. was too raw. But Ancelotti didn't bring a revolution. He brought belief. Madrid surged. La Liga, easy. But in the Champions League, they did the impossible. Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea. City, Liverpool, comebacks written into legend. Benzema turned into a ghost no one could mark. Courtois became unbreakable. Rodrigo lit the Bernabeu on fire. In 2024, they did it again. Real Madrid's 15th title. This wasn't just about players, it was about faith, legacy, DNA. Barcelona and Madrid had taken hits, lost icons, but they never forgot how to rise. This wasn't just football. Barcelona and Real Madrid didn't dominate because of tactics or transfers alone. They dominated because they believed they were meant to. At Barcelona, Pep Guardiola created a system where every pass had purpose. Tiki-taka wasn't about showing off, it was about total control. Each player moved like part of a machine. Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, Messi, they weren't just teammates, they were believers. Pep's power wasn't just tactical, it was spiritual. He turned football into a mission, into ideology. Every match felt like a performance, a lesson, a statement. At Real Madrid, it was something else entirely. Zidane's Madrid didn't want to dominate, they wanted to end you. They didn't control games, they hunted in moments, transitions, counters, knockouts. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play to win, he played because he believed the Champions League belonged to him. And Ancelotti? He didn't impose commands, he gave players freedom. Modric ran like a 20-year-old because he was trusted like a captain. Nacho, a backup for years, led them in finals. Vinicius and Bellingham looked like veterans because belief had been handed down to them like an heirloom. This wasn't a team, it was a mindset. At Barca, obsession with perfection fueled them. At Madrid, it was inevitability. Every opponent didn't just face 11 players, they faced 50 years of expectation, belief and legacy. 16 years. That's how long Barcelona and Real Madrid ruled Europe like empires. Trading eras, rewriting history, and raising the standard of what greatness looked like. It wasn't just about trophies, it was about identity. Barcelona gave us poetry, the glide of Iniesta, the vision of Xavi, the genius of Messi. They redefined beauty. Every touch a brushstroke, every goal a symphony. Real Madrid gave us theatre, Ronaldo's rage, Ramos's headers, Bale's bicycle, comebacks that made grown men cry and stadiums shake. It was football as religion. There were no underdog stories without these two clubs casting a shadow. No miracle comebacks without Real Madrid's blueprint. No tactical revolutions without Pep's gospel. And even when it seemed over, when Messi left for Paris, when Ronaldo chased legacy elsewhere, when the squads aged out, the shirt still meant something. Because now, in 2024, the cycle continues. Vinicius dances past defenders like it's tradition. Jude Bellingham carries himself like royalty. Mbappé waits in the wings. And in Barcelona, under Xavi, a new army of teenagers sharpens their swords, raised on YouTube clips of a golden era. The legacy of Barcelona and Real Madrid isn't just historical, it's generational. They didn't just win the Champions League, they turned it into mythology, and every future legend still has to walk through their gates.